Oh, there goes the body. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Anthony here, Commander Stick RC, back in my RC station again here. The footage that you just saw in the beginning of this video, that is actually my first real bash with a Traxxas Sledge. But I actually been running the truck quite a bit outside my garage on flat ground, just to get the feel for the truck. And I gotta say, guys, it's a pretty awesome looking truck, to be honest with you. And in my opinion, I think it looks a lot better than my Creighton. I don't know what it is. It could be because the Sledge is a newer truck and the Creighton's been around for a long time and its body is kind of dated now. I don't know what it is, but I'm just really digging the style and the look of the Sledge right now. I don't know, it's appealing a lot more to me. The truck runs great, handles great, it's nice and balanced. Jumps really well. I launched it off of my ramp. Handles really good in the air. Very controllable and predictable in the air. Based on my first bash with the truck, the Sledge did pretty good for the most part. I mean, I had a great time with it out there until this happens. This is the Sledge chassis, and take a look at this. This thing is severely bent and it's just all twisted up. I'm trying to get the better angle here so you can actually see how twisted this chassis is. And I'm gonna be honest here, guys, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I am really disappointed with this chassis right here, that it only lasted one run, one bash. I know it's expected. This is a 3+ something millimeter 6061 chassis. I mean, the chassis on my Tim Crowley Punisher, after 2 hard bash with it, I mean, the chassis is still pretty straight. I mean, it held up way better than this, that's for sure. Even the chassis that's on my Habao Hyper SSTE, after first bash, that thing's still pretty straight. Obviously, held up way better than this. I mean, take a look at this. This is just ridiculous how bent and twisted this thing is. I treat all my trucks exactly the same. I bash the crap out of them, so they get the same treatment. And I have never had a stock chassis that bent like this on the first bash. The other part that I'm really disappointed with about this truck, guys, is that 2-piece motor mount design that Traxxas decided to go with for this truck. I mean, that motor mount system is just garbage in my opinion. Again, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I struggle with it so much. But first of all, the gearing that this truck comes with out of the box, it's kind of slow for my driving style. It's kind of lethargic, slow and sluggish, but that's not really a big deal. You can always gear up and stuff. But you know, that's when the problem starts, because when I gear it up to maybe, might have been 15 or 16 tooth pinion, I could not get the mesh right. I don't know what it is. I could not get the mesh right. And on top of that, the cradle style motor mount started shifting on me, and it's just a nightmare. I know I'm not the only one that has an issue with that motor mount. So yeah, what else can I say? I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, enough with the rant. That's because we now have an M2C prototype chassis for the Sledge. And take a look at this, guys. Huge shout out to Mitch and Every for coming out with this beautifully machined chassis. This is a 4mm stick, 7075 chassis. And this chassis, guys, has proven to be one of the best chassis out there. And I just don't know what else to say about this chassis. One thing I can say though, that I have a V3 Italian that's about 3 something years old now with an M2C chassis, and that chassis is still straight as an arrow up to this date. So that's just a testament of how awesome, how durable this chassis right here. So I'm super excited to swap everything into this chassis, take it out, and give this an ultimate bash, guys. So I know I mentioned earlier my disappointment about the stock motor mounts. That is now a thing of the past, guys, because M2C came out with their new motor mount system right here. The slide out motor mount, also a center diff mount right there. I gotta say, this motor mount design right here is tried and true. It's proven to be one of the best motor mount. It works flawlessly on the Arma vehicle, and I'm just so glad that M2C adapted to this motor mount for the Traxxas Sledge, because this is definitely and ultimately solved the issue that we have with the motor mount on this truck. So again, props to M2C Racing for adapting to this motor mount design. This is going to be a massive upgrade right here, along with the 775 chassis. And lastly, guys, M2C made a new version of their 17mm universal hex extenders. I already fitted the extenders into the truck. This is obviously just the extended locking nut. Now what's so cool about this, it just makes your life a little bit easier, and since they are a little bit extended out, it just makes it a lot easier for you to grab onto this, loosen it, and take out your wheels. This is definitely going to make your life a little bit easier. So huge props to M2C Racing for their constant innovation right there. So now you might be wondering, where is the rest of the Sledge? They are actually right there in the corner. As you can see, they're all bits and pieces. They're all ready to go to swap over into this new chassis right here. Alright guys, I'm gonna get started here because this is a lot to do. I'm gonna do all of this off camera, and then I'll bring you back and I'll show you what that looks like once everything is fitted into this new chassis. Alright guys, I got the slicks all put back together. As you can see, I gotta say, man, the installation process actually went pretty good, went pretty smoothly. I did not run into any fitment issues, so that's a good thing. That just made the installation a lot more enjoyable. I gotta say, guys, I really miss running this truck, so I'm super excited to get this thing out there and put a good test on that M2C chassis and the rest of the M2C goodies that I have on here. So yeah, let me flip this thing over so you can see the chassis. Here it is, guys. So you can see I already have some scratches on it because I took it out for a test drive just to make sure everything is running smoothly with my setup here. But yeah, this chassis looks awesome, guys. So alright guys, let me pop the body off and show you what that motor mount is looking like inside. Alright, here, let me show you a closer look at it. Here is the motor mount right there. Like I said, everything bolts right in. The fitment's perfect. So yeah, that looks pretty good in there, guys. If you look under my Max 6 ESC, that is an M2C ESC plate. Down there, bolts right on top of the stock ESC floor, ESC plate. I don't know if you can see this, but I have a motor back end support down there. So that's gonna obviously support your motor from big airs. So I really like that. You can also see the center diff mount in there as well. So yeah, props to M2C Racing, man. So everything's looking good. Everything mounts perfectly without any issues. So super happy about that. I also want to point out, guys, that I am running an M2C pistons all the way around in the front and also in the back with the Habao orange spring. I'm really liking the rebound that I'm getting from these springs, so I'm a huge fan of that. And also I have some M2C drip screws in here as well. Here's a closer look at that 6.5mm universal hex adapter. Just want to give you guys a closer look at that. The coolest thing about this, guys, is that you're not only able to run a stock tires on these adapters, but you can also run just about any 17mm tires on this, which is pretty awesome. So I'm definitely gonna try running a backflip or the Copperhead 2s from the Crayon 6S on the Sledge. This is just open the doors to a whole lot of options out there in terms of what wheels you can run on this universal hex adapters right here. So props to M2C Racing for coming out with something like that. Alright guys, that is going to do it. Again, the installation process went pretty well. went pretty smoothly. Everything bolted perfectly, as well as the motor mount, the diff mounts, and the motor back end support in there. Again, everything went perfectly without any issues. So there's only one thing left to do, and to get this thing out there and test out that chassis and the rest of the M2C upgrades that I have on this truck. So alright, so that's gonna do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe if you haven't. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.